because of time and Right Honorable Raila Odinga is having another engagement in a few minutes, we'll just go straight to the issues that we believe are very important to us. I'll start by thanking the government, led by our President, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who took passion and gave us this bomber line, whereby the small traders can do their business. We have been having good partnership with the relevant authorities. KRI has offices here. We want to thank the Commissioner General and the entire staffs. Kenya Bureau, all the agencies were allocated to this place. So we want to take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to just give you a few remarks, and I know it's not the first time that we are meeting you. We have met on other occasions. We have highlighted our grievances, but allow me to say that MSME Alliance of Kenya is a different game changer, whereby all sectors are represented, and we feel that there's that need of bringing up all the micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs who play a crucial role in the economic growth of this country. The potential of SMEs sector, as you have been telling us, has remained untapped, and that's how the alliance was formed to bridge this gap. We started this journey almost a decade ago, but we decided to formalize this umbrella as a national outfit through having strong structures and operational systems to address the pride of the micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs. This saw the establishment of MSME Alliance of Kenya, which is now represented by very able zone leaders. As a lobby group, because we are registered at the company guarantee, we have faced a bit of challenges trying to achieve the goals that have been set for us by the people that we represent. We have made engagements with the different strategic partners, which include different government agencies that have been mandated to facilitate the operations of MSMEs in this country. A recent study by the Central Bank of Kenya indicates that MSMEs constitute of 98% of all businesses in this country, creating 60% of available jobs, and also the largest active contributor to the country's GDP annually. However, with the COVID era, 30% of these businesses are at risk of closing down because of curfew hours, whereby we are requesting through your good office that now it's the time that we learn to live with COVID and probably open the country so that we can be able to do business like we were doing before. Trade restrictions and high financial burdens have also been affecting our businesses, and some of our members have closed their businesses because they cannot even afford their loans. We have been facing outstanding challenges throughout the year. There are too many requirements when you want to start a small business, especially to our youth and those people who leave college or who has been retrenched. There are several challenges when you want to start that business, because in a small shop you are required to have about 4 or 5 licenses. There is also unregulated competition from the foreigners due to lack of proper foreign investment policies, whereby you get, even your neighbor can be a person from a country that is manufacturing goods, but he is also selling in your next door. So that has been a very challenging moment to our people. Recently we introduced the other primitive licenses that were introduced, especially for those guys who import liquor to this country. A license of 1 million has been imposed by NACADA. So these are some of the few challenges that our people that we represent, and we represent different sectors, are facing. We would request through your good office that that kind of a primitive license be dropped so that we give our people a chance to do business. And I'm happy that the members of parliament are here who can also assist us on that. We need also a federal customized taxation regime whereby our people will be educated and understand how taxes can be paid. Our people want to pay taxes, but sometimes, because of where we are coming from, you might not understand that there was an assessment that you didn't do 2 or 3 years ago, and you are sometimes surprised by an email that you have to pay this amount. So sometimes we need, through the good offices that we have been interacting to, our traders need to be taken through the training to see that this does not happen. Because when a small trader account is closed, it gives you a stop of whatever else you want to do. Limited access to finances also has been an issue whereby you are asked for securities, and sometimes as a beginner you don't have any. There are also other issues whereby the taxes, as Madam Tracy has said, we would like to negotiate with the relevant authority. And I want to talk about the achievement because they are there. I know we had a list, but because we still have other opportunities, Honorable Prime Minister, to even sit down and give all these challenges, I would request that the MSME board get another opportunity to visit you or to sit down with you and do a lot of consultation in between. But I want to recognize the last people that have attended this area. We are not only in CBD. We have people from Kariakoo, Gikomba, Kariobagi, Uhuru Market, Gong Road, and other sectors that are represented. We can't forget about the consolidators who releases goods from this point to our traders. And I'm sure they are also here, they are represented. Evergreen, Trade Base, Top Marine, they are represented. Allow me to stop there. Allow me to stop there and invite CAS, Bwana Lawrence Karanja, who will invite the other guests.
Thank you very much, Chairman Ben Mutahi. Our chief guest, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Prime Minister. Distinguished guest, our SME, our traders. It is my, I'm delighted to be here today to get together with our partners. But before I say something, because I want to be very brief, I would want to invite Mheshimiwa Gladys Wanga, MP Homa Bay, to introduce the members of parliament here. Just that, because as you have heard, our chief guest is very, very squeezed. Karibu Mheshimiwa.
Asante sana, Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Chief Administrative Secretary, na wafanyi biashara wote, hamjambo. Asante sana. Yangu ni machache sana, ni wakuwatambulisha wale wajumbe ambao wako hapa, na nitaanza pale na Mheshimiwa Anthony Oloch, mjumbe wa Mathare. Asante sana. Mheshimiwa Timu Wanyonyi, mjumbe wa Westlands. Asante sana. Mheshimiwa Babu Owino, mjumbe wa Embakasi East. Asante sana. Na mimi Gladys Wanga, mjumbe wa Homa Bay County na pia mwenyekiti wa kamati ya fedha na taratibu za nchi, Finance and National Planning. And only to say, Your Excellency, that as your members of parliament, we are ready and willing to work with the MSMEs as far as the challenges relating to legislation and policy are concerned. We are open, and based on our discussions, we are happy to move these discussions forward. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Your Excellency, the Honorable Prime Minister. First of all, I want to convey the apology of the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Betty Minor, who is engaged in other activities, and he couldn't make it to this meeting. Your Excellency, we have been dealing with this, with the traders and the SMEs, and I want to first of all to confirm to you that as a government, we have developed the SME policy, which is addressing most of the issues which are being raised by the SMEs. This includes looking at enhancing access to credit, and towards this, through Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, we have set aside 800 million to lead to these small scale traders, and this fund, which has been created, will be lending at zero interest. So we have a seed capital of 800 million. Beyond that, the government has set the credit guarantee scheme, which is being operationalized by Parliament, where we shall be having about 4 billion for a startup, which to make credit accessible to the SMEs, because we know one of the reasons why they are not able to access the credit is due to lack of collaterals. Therefore, we are coming with a scheme where the government will take the risk. Finally, about the traders who are here, I know some of the challenges they have been facing, and was the inspection of goods at the destination, and we reduced the charges from 6% of the value to 0.6 for those who are not able to have the inspections done elsewhere. Further to that, we have come with what we are calling the recordation rules, so that the importers can know who are the genuine exporters, to avoid a situation where goods get to a country and then they are declared to be counterfeit. So those are some of the few issues we are addressing, but we keep on engaging them on day-to-day basis, especially the traders. We also have other programs which we have set aside, especially for the manufacturers, and amongst them is where we have come up with constituency industrial development centers, where so far we have built 160 industrial development centers to develop the cottage industry in various areas. And I know that the government of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta is committed to addressing the needs and the demands of SME, and we keep on engaging. I am happy to have met Teresia here. We engaged the Mtuba traders during the COVID, and we came up with the protocols for importation of the Mtuba. We have addressed the issues which have been raised by the importers on destination inspection, and any issue which they raise, we address and respond to them as prompt as possible. Parliament has been a very good partner in assisting us come with the regulations to facilitate trade. And I believe, because it is your day, Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to request you to come and address the traders here. Karibu, tafadhali tunawaomba tusimame tupigie mgeni wetu wa heshima makofi ili akuje awaongereshe. Karibu baba, ongea na watu wako.
Asante. Thank you. You may be seated. The members of the SMEs in our country, hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. I want to begin by apologizing that you've taken much longer than we anticipated to come here. And I have another engagement which is starting shortly. That's the reason why we may not have sufficient time. But I want you to look at this as work in progress, that I'm available and that I will have another opportunity to talk longer with you people. I want to say that the contribution of SMEs to the growth and development of Kenyan economy is well known and not disputed. You are part and parcel of the evolution of our society, where we are empowering our people to be able to meaningfully participate in our economy. Small and medium-sized enterprises represent 98% of all businesses in our country today. More than 80% of Kenya's working population rely on SMEs for income. SMEs contributed an estimated 34% of the country's gross domestic product in the year 2016. SMEs generate 80% of new jobs annually. Small enterprises hire large numbers of women and youth and are active in rural and vulnerable populations. As a result, they encourage economic inclusion, empowerment, while reducing employment. I am mentioning those figures basically to show the importance that I myself attach to this sector. The challenge we must address is how to enhance the emergence, growth, and spread of SMEs in Kenya. Now, approaches to enhance SMEs growth. Our country, since independence, has passed through different stages to reach where we are here. You will know that before independence, we were running a fairly segregated society where our people, the indigenous population here, were at the bottom of the ladder and therefore were not really a serious participant in economic development of our country. When the independence came, the government started first with a policy of Africanization. And then that was found to be a little bit racist. It was changed to Kenyanization. That was basically an affirmative action process to allow our people to be able to participate in the economic growth of our country. That phase allowed our people, through institutions that were created like ICDC or KNTC, to begin to engage in small-scale businesses in our country. Now we have reached a stage where we are today. The issues we must confront are: how do we ensure entrepreneurs of startups manage sustainable growth of their companies? What kind of support do they require from the government and the public? How do we ensure not only quantity, but also quality SMEs? We need to help SMEs understand their ecological habitat and deploy it accordingly. There are those that can thrive with labor-intensive programs. There are those that need high-tech programs. There's need to help SMEs build a closely knit web of cooperation among themselves, build own networks, and share resources so that they can maximize on the benefits of cooperation. In Korea, they invested in regional clusters of SMEs with the government support. The clusters then share information and knowledge. This helped them to gain collective bargaining power with the big businesses. They also came up with a policy for co-branding. This is a process in which several SMEs market themselves under one brand name. It is a cost-cutting and market measure. We need to help SMEs nurture a relationship with the big businesses even while they compete. In Kenya, we need to start with the low-hanging fruits. We need efficient and balanced public policies and ensure they are supportive of SMEs. The government must see itself as being responsible for the protection of small businesses. We need clear legislation that provide clarity on level and nature of government support and protection of SMEs. We need clear policies to ensure financial support and fair competition for SMEs. We need to enforce legislation on the local content for public projects. We must establish and enforce Buy Kenya, Build Kenya policies in the public procurement, research and development support. We need to establish funds whose sole purpose is to lend money to SMEs. Some countries have government-funded and run small and medium industry banks that provide money to SMEs at low interest rates. We need that here. And I'm happy to hear from the peers that the government is taking over some burdens and risks in this regard, but this needs to be properly institutionalized. SMEs need tax breaks and special tax credits, especially when their operations involve procurement of commodities from external markets. We need clear anti-monopoly and competition policies. We need to ensure big businesses do not monopolize domestic markets and that SMEs have sound protection from foreigners. And here, indeed, we need to be clear. We are not trying to say that SMEs should kill local manufacturing. Far from it. We say that there is space for the existence of SMEs and local manufacturing. And the SME is basically a starting point that eventually now develops to become also manufacturers in local markets. This is the way it has happened in other countries, and that's why SMEs are playing an important role. We must help SMEs that want to go regional to do so. And here, as you know, we have the East African Community Market. This is our biggest market, and I know that our SMEs themselves are very active in exploiting this market. We need to remove barriers which still exist in moving goods along our borders to our neighboring countries. This will create a much bigger market for our SMEs. All government ministries need to have programs and provisions for support of SMEs by law. Development of SME parks. Increased access to funding in the agriculture sector, especially for SMEs in agriculture value chains. Public-private partnership in enhancing access to infrastructure through the investment in energy, water, and information and communications technology. Reduce electricity costs by introducing the policy of differential pricing, lower electricity prices during off-peak periods. We need to support and promote SMEs that want to engage in exporting to other countries and regions by providing such businesses with export subsidies. Government must encourage dialogue with SMEs with a focus on taxation, licensing, and etc. Taxation and unfair competition are killing our SMEs. And I've said, and they've mentioned it, it is an area where there can be proper dialogue so that taxation does not become a big burden that kills the SMEs. It is not proper policy to come up with very heavy taxes, because if the taxes are too heavy, there's always a tendency to evade paying taxes. But if the taxes are reasonable and the net is wider, then the government is able to collect more taxes and everybody is happy. This is where we want to go. I just want to say that the apostle who spoke here before has led a team to come and see me, have engaged the combat people, understand fully the challenges that they're facing, problems that they have, and I know that those problems can be resolved. Some of the issues that have been raised here, I'm also going to use my position to try to raise it with the other authorities in the government. I know, for example, also, that sometimes there's also unfair competition where people from countries from where the SMEs are importing, those who have got direct access to manufacture there, also are allowed to come back here and follow up and also come and hawk those businesses here in competition with our local traders. This is not right. This is not right. And that is also sometimes discrimination in the issuance of visas. That because of COVID but COVID is also now being used as an excuse to deny our people access to the countries of origin, where they can go to purchase goods which they then bring here to sell. But people from those markets find their way to come here and compete unfairly with our own businesses. This is not right. This is something that needs to be addressed. Finally, because I know that the chairman of Kenya Bureau of Standards was here, we are also here with Mr. Richard Ngatia, President of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is also here. But the KEBS, I've said, has a very important role to play. In my early incarnation, I was an officer of Kenya Bureau of Standards. I know what standardization is about and what it is not about. Standardization is not supposed to be used to punish businesses. Standardization is supposed to deal with quality and enhance quality, and then also protect people against harmful goods. But there's goods which may be of low quality and are not harmful to anybody. And if somebody wants to buy something which is of low quality, that's what he can afford, why do you deny him or her that opportunity to do so? By imposing some fictitious standards. I will also going to have opportunity to talk to the Kenya Bureau of Standards so that they restrict to themselves to what standardization is about. Fitness for use. That is what standardization is all about. I thank you very much for listening to me.
Just a minute. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Because of interest of time, I would like to thank you so much for honoring our invitation and coming, and also being able to address the issues that we have asked you. Also, our host, the KRC and KEBS, and also the President of KNCCI, thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring this invitation. We really appreciate Your Excellency. And because of interest of time, I know you are going to have other engagements. Asante sana, and God bless you. Thank you.